panic attack. Yes, you're going to have one. Now that you got all your pheasants that have got the correct genetics, these little chicks, these little chickies that are so cute and everything, and the everything mark. Wonderful. You've got the grade 1. Now, raising them is the next step. This is where you don't want the kill-off to happen. Certain birds die, it's automatic. But these little chickies, I got the genetics in there, and by the time they're like getting past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they're going to become much more hyper. And the standard brooders that most people raise them in are on these levels that are these chicken type of brooders. Okay. So if these birds are in there, they're going to have a panic attack, and they're going to bounce against the top of the screen, and they're going to break their necks. You understand? You understand. Because you are raising a very, very hyper bird ready to survive in the wild. It's not going to tolerate that. You're going to lose most of your stock, and what is left, what you're going to breed, you're going to think you have something, and they're going to be all of the genes you don't want back into the wild. That's going to be left. Okay. So, if you're serious about doing what I'm saying, you've got to build a brooder that is protective when these birds go crazy. Because they will. At any moment, at any time, and you don't know when. And that's what you want to breed. Okay? So when you build your brooder, you got to build a different brooder. You got to build one that's higher than previously, and make some sort of a netting type of thing. And if you're serious, you just contact me. I'll tell you how to do all the rest of it, so they won't get their necks hung and all this kind of stuff. So when you got them in these large brooders, I used to use what the hell? I used a pool table. No, it wasn't a pool table. A ping pong table. I built a brooder out of that one, and had my specifically bred birds in there. What the hell? You know, I didn't play ping pong. And form that netting. And then, once you introduce them to the outside, and you got your pens built out there, you've got to remember another thing. Is that, I don't care, it can look beautiful, it can look great, but it's got to be longer than it is wide. So when you enter the pen, they all run to the other side. Okay? That's a safety. If they're not running to the longer side, you aren't breeding the right bird. If they're standing around and just like, you know, him hawing around the feeders or whatever you got, you didn't do the right thing genetically. Okay. Another thing is too, once you built these long pens, you've got to make sure that you have the netting on top. It is not hard wire, because they are, once they get about like 6, 8 weeks, they're going to be pretty strong flyers, and that is exactly what you want. The harder they fly, the better they're going to survive. I know that sounds like a scenario, but it is the truth. And when they take off, and when they panic, usually the whole group's going to go up. I don't care if you got 100 or 500 in a pen. They're all going to go crazy. And that is exactly what you bred for. And when they do that, you've got to make sure you have those nets, and you've got to understand there's always going to be accidents. and a bird will come by and right go by your face, and if he does and he hits a 2x4 behind you and breaks his neck, yeah, it's a loss. But if you're still seeing a couple of birds walking around you and just going, well, what's going on here? You haven't completed the project. They should all be doing that. They should all be going down to the other direction. They should always be in a panic. And it's instinctive. It's not like you can go there every day and they become your pets. They just don't. They don't want to. They just are. So that's the behavior thing you're gonna look for. Okay? When these little chickies are hatched, everything is fine and dandy at the beginning, and you get them all colored out and you get them all marked. But what you bred into the bird is different when it starts to get a day, next day, a day older, and day older. It's going back to that, what the genetics you bred into that bird is right there. You see? So, once you get them to the brooders, you gotta remember, don't do none of the standard stuff that the poultry industry has. You got to build your breeders that are going to understand the fact that you're going to have a panicking bird, a wild motherfucker, excuse my language, and then that's the bird that you want to release in the wild. When you get to that point, and you can handle it, and you got your pens built out there, and they're long, I'm telling you long, and as wide as you can be, and since we never can do every square foot we want, the beaking process, if you've got a strain that's doing that right now, and you can debeak and put on the blinders and stuff like that to slow them up from the cannibalism and tail them down. But if they're reacting that way, before you get there, you know you're on the right track. You understand? You're going to notice it. You're going to notice it in behavior right off within like 4 or 5 days after you're hatched. So, but I'm telling you, right from the beginning, in the brooders, if they have a panic attack and the birds are starting to kill themselves, the ones that are killing themselves or breaking their necks on the things, well, you're selecting in the wrong direction. Those are the ones you want. Okay? We'll see how this goes. I'm not going to turn this into a whole husbandry class, I guess, but if anybody else is interested in what I'm saying, I will gladly give you all the details in precision as whatever you want. Anytime you call me, I have helped people before and even in many areas, but this is not, I can't guarantee you're going to restore a pheasant, but this is what you're going to look for in behaviors that when you're breeding something to introduce back to the wild has to have. That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying in this video, and